Could Minato Namikaze stop the Uchiha massacre? Now, my first thought is yes, if he doesn't fight Itachi and Obito at the same time. I think he could. I think so. I don't know, but let's find out. What does Six think?
Minato is looked at in this sort of golden ticket, beacon of hope, get out of jail free card sort of way all throughout the franchise and throughout the Naruto community itself. We get different scenarios that people place Minato in where they think if Minato was there, the outcome
Everything would be all good. It's just have Minato there. Even the characters in the show. You'd be like, oh, I wish Minato's here. The Hokage's like, well, Minato's not here, so we got to make do with what we have.
would either be completely different in a good way or a bad way, but most of the time a good way. What if Minato were to train Naruto? People think
He'd be
Naruto
strong.
would become much stronger. What if Minato was there during the pain fight? People think Minato
would have helped a lot.
Would have been a better asset there, not only than Sage Naruto, but then every other Leaf Jonin or Shinobi.
A better than Naruto? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not too sure. Minato versus the Six Paths of Pain in Konoha, and he has the information. I can see him winning. I could see him winning. I don't see him dominating though.
Shinobi in that village. What if Minato was around whenever Obito was about to get killed? Or whenever Rin was about to die? Those are thoughts he himself has in verse. He thinks that he could have prevented that stuff from happening.
He could have.
Which, it's not too far-fetched, right? Obviously, if Minato was there, those Jonin from the Rock Village would not have gotten over and killed any of his squad mates.
Yeah.
Minato versus Hiruzen. Whenever Orochimaru was summoning the Hokage, he obviously thinks
Hiruzen would have been defeated. All three of the Kage, like, no, bro. Like, Hiruzen would not have soloed all three of them. No, not happening. Even though they're weaker, I don't see Hiruzen. I don't even see Hiruzen just taking Orochimaru's arms. Like, no, I just don't see him winning that fight.
Minato would have given him an edge in that fight. And Hiruzen even implies that it would have worked. So it's not too far-fetched to say that Minato's interference there would have won Orochimaru that battle. And Minato also thinks that he could have stopped Obito if he would have just found out who he was back during the Nine Tails attack. Just getting at the idea that Minato is always put in these scenarios and they think that if he was there, the outcome would just be overall much better. This one is no different.
9 times out of 10, if Minato was there, it would be better. 9 times out of 10, I think it would be. Now, if he was replacing characters, I don't necessarily think it would work out. Like, say, oh, sorry, you guys can barely see me. Sitting in my chair like L. I'm tired of sitting down. Anyways, like if Minato and Sasuke went to go take on Sage Kabuto, I don't think they would have beaten him. Itachi is like the only one that could really trap Kabuto. I don't think Minato being there with Sasuke would have helped. No, I don't think so. So it's not 100%. Oh, Minato's there. It's an instant win. There's definitely cases where that's not true.
Could Minato stop the Uchiha massacre? Now, there's 3 different ways.
If Itachi is bloodlusted and he is trying to fight Minato with Obito, I don't see Minato winning. But if Itachi is still playing that role, you know, he only wanted to kill his village so Sasuke could live. And as soon as Minato showed up, Itachi's like on the defensive and trying to retreat. I could see Minato winning. But if he's like, all right, fuck it, I gotta go all out against the 4th Hokage, and Obito is there, no, I don't think he would win that fight. If he does win that fight, he's not winning unscathed. Like, he's losing an arm, losing a leg, he's losing something in that fight. There's no way he gets out of that unscathed. If not, he kills one of them and dies too. I don't really see him killing both of them. I don't see it happening.
I thought of that he could maybe stop it. And these are the only 3 different ways I think that you could.
What do you mean stop it?
Imply in the verse would be likely to happen. One is the political solving, right? Obviously,
Yep.
sort of
Political, yes.
giving the Uchiha what they want
Giving
in a
them an
way,
out,
maybe
yes.
coming to a compromise.
I think so,
Two
yes.
would be beating them into submission. I don't know,
I don't know
maybe
about
taking
that one.
out a few of the heads
I don't think he would
and
even
they
do
just
that.
don't want to revolt anymore.
I don't even think that's a
Three
thing
would
Minato would do.
be, and this is probably the most likely, would be not segregating the Uchiha. So, according to Obito,
I
because
think he
we
would
don't
do
get
that as well.
lots of information surrounding the background to the coup d'etat, we just know that it was going to take place.
Because they were tired of being
The only
treated
information we get in
bad.
the original manga anyway, which is what I'm going to be mainly sticking to for the rest of the video, is Itachi's flashback when he tells Sasuke the truth at the end of 590, and Obito's word from whenever he's telling Sasuke the truth about Itachi. Obito's word is questionable. Like, I wouldn't mind if anyone were to put doubt into what Obito was saying.
I wouldn't believe 100%.
Because
Dude, I would not believe 100% whatever fucking Obito says. Like, no, this dude has one goal and one objective, which is to enslave everybody on Earth so he can be with Ren again. Like, I would not take anything he says with 100% facts. I would take everything with a big ass grain of salt. Like, half the damn salt shaker for everything that Obito says. You cannot trust everything he says. He wants one thing, which includes dominating everybody that he's working with. No.
Obito is obviously a massive liar and whatnot,
Facts.
but I do think what he was saying to Sasuke was legitimate, and there's a few reasons as to why.
Because
He
Itachi.
does mention how the Nine Tails incident was complete force of nature, had no involvement. We obviously know he was literally the one who summoned it, so he was obviously lying there. But the part he says after that, where the elders put scrutiny on the Uchiha and then segregated them, does seem to make sense, because then the Uchiha obviously revolted with a coup d'etat. Minato's literal presence or just existence in his knowledge, because he fought Obito, would lead this away from the Uchiha being segregated, because he could tell them that it was this guy, not any of the Uchiha who he probably knows just as being Hokage. After all, there can't be many Uchiha who are capable
That strong to summon the Nine Tails and control it.
of placing the Nine Tails under Genjutsu. So you really have Minato looking at one,
Fugaku.
maybe three people at
Fugaku, Shisui. Does does Minato even know about Itachi at this point? I'm not too sure. And I don't even think Itachi at this age could really do that. And so yeah, I mean, from what we know about the Uchiha, there's only a couple people, right? And then on top of that, I mean, Fugaku is literally the chief of police. There would be several eyewitnesses to where he's at, so.
max, that being Fugaku, if they could even do it. And I'm sure, there's a height difference between Obito and Fugaku.
Yeah.
Minato would just basically be able to pick up on the fact that the one who controlled the Nine Tails is not one of the Uchiha that is known in the village today. There is this common misconception where people think that Minato thought Obito actually was Madara, which
I mean,
is
at that point, you don't really. I mean, look, it's an outside Uchiha, and he's fighting with pretty much the same skill as a Hokage, and he's doing Hokage level feats. I mean, I honestly probably be in the same boat like Madara. Like, who else? Like, if there was anybody else as strong as Madara, we should know about them, right? We would know about them. We are the Hidden Leaf Village. We have ninja everywhere. Like, we're the head honcho when it comes to ninja. I'm pretty sure we would know if there was some other Uchiha that defected to another clan. We would have to know this, right? But then again, you never know. So.
not true. He does question, okay, the only person who can do the things that this guy is doing that I know of
That
is
I know
Madara.
of, facts.
But then right after that, he says, no, that's impossible. Madara is dead.
He has to be.
The only
He's
thing
old.
to even go further than that in that little conversation or text blurb is Obito saying, I wonder about that. But Minato throughout the rest of the franchise only refers to him as the masked man, not as Madara. So I think he sort of dropped the idea that this was Madara. Now, him bringing up to the rest of the council or whatever that someone claiming to be moderate did it would obviously maybe strike fear into certain people.
Oh,
Like, I can
100%.
imagine
Donzo
Donzo
be scared
is
as hell.
likely to give counter arguments to Minato, like, no, we still need to segregate the Uchiha anyway, just because Donzo does not like the Uchiha.
Facts.
I do think it's more
He's almost as racist as Tobirama.
likely, though, that
Almost.
Donzo in this specific interpretation or this specific alternate timeline that I'm making up basically would lose this argument because of how the elders respond to the other part of the Uchiha coup d'etat, where whenever the Uchiha are threatening to attack the village and they get word of that because of Itachi, they say, well, let's strike before they strike. And that's sort of what I think the elders have the mentality of, rather than someone like Donzo, who basically just wants to strike and get rid of them. I imagine Donzo was waiting for something like this to happen because he just does not like the Uchiha. So whenever the opportunity presented itself, he got good enough pushback to let's segregate them. But like I said, Minato's existence and his knowledge of who actually controlled the Nine Tails, or maybe not who actually, but the fact that it was someone claiming to be Madara, would push away the idea that the Uchiha needed to be segregated.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they know their past, they know their history. Madara left on his own. The Uchiha didn't back Madara. Madara tried to do a coup, and they were like, no, we're not. Like, you gotta go, bro. And he left. So it would make sense if Madara's back. There's no way the whole village is behind him. It's just not a thing.
Hiruzen might have a different reaction in this circumstance because the person who killed his wife was Obito. For those who don't know, Obito actually killed Hiruzen's wife whenever he went to abduct Naruto and Kushina, whenever Kushina was obviously giving birth and whatnot.
Who was Hiruzen's wife? A medical ninja?
So I don't know, maybe
I didn't even know this man was married.
Hiruzen would start siding with Danzo a little bit, giving Minato a bit of pushback because he knows now the man who killed his wife wasn't Uchiha. After all, in the main timeline,
I don't know, because like I said, I didn't even know he had a wife, right? So I don't know if that's the case, then I don't know if everything that Hiruzen has done has been spite out of spite. That Uchiha is the one that summoned the Nine Tails. Oh, and Uchiha is the reason why my wife is dead. This is why um, Hiruzen doesn't really look after Sasuke or Naruto, really. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This sounds like a whole bunch of side information that probably doesn't amount to much and can really lead to a bunch of headcanon. I mean, but this is a whole what if situation anyway.
Hiruzen does know the guy who attacked the village did it, but he has no idea who attacked the village. They even had a Sharingan or whatnot, because Obito managed to hide it on the Nine Tails. So Minato being there, saying that the guy who destroyed or captured the Nine Tails, and destroyed the village, did have a Sharingan or was in Uchiha, may lead Hiruzen to take a different approach. And if that's the case, maybe you could argue that Hiruzen plus Danzo arguments coming at Minato would get the elders more on their side and segregate the Uchiha anyway. But
I mean, didn't they already know that an Uchiha took over the Nine Tails? I mean, Kurama had a whole Sharingan in his eye, and his eye is the size of a car. You know, like his eye is huge. Like I'm pretty sure if I looked at something huge and I looked in its eyes and I saw a Sharingan, I'd be like, an Uchiha must have did that.
if the Uchiha don't get segregated, the need for a coup d'etat probably doesn't happen. So it all depends on this first section or whatever. All basically depends on if you think the segregation would happen or not. If you don't think it would happen,
If the segregation happened, I mean, I don't
the
know.
Uchiha massacre probably does not happen. But let's entertain the idea that the segregation does happen. At this point, we then have Spy Itachi coming in, because even post segregation, we don't get the plan for the coup d'etat until much later down the line. Because Itachi at this point, if you go with novel canon, he's 12. If you go with actual canon, he's 13 since he's an Anbu captain.
Mm.
And I'm trying not to bring up novel stuff in this video. I do think the novels sort of mess things up that I don't want to get into. I'm basically, just going with the original source material, like I said earlier in the video. So then we get some like maybe Minato and Itachi interactions where Itachi would be feeding Minato information about what the Uchiha want to do, um, obviously how they're gonna do it, because the Uchiha think that they've successfully planted a spy in the leaf with Itachi, but obviously Itachi the whole time was working for the leaf because Itachi wants to do everything to protect the leaf. So you get Minato and Itachi in this situation, basically trying to either talk the
De-escalate.
clan down or get them out of this mindset that they need to attack the village. I doubt that Minato would go at it directly. Like Itachi tells Minato, then he approaches Fugaku and he's like, please don't run a coup d'etat in the village.
Yeah, if
That
anything, that might
obviously
make it
wouldn't be
worse.
smart by any measure of tactics whatsoever, because then Fugaku
Because
would
then we know, oh, there's a spy in our midst, and then it just runs rampant. Other people want, okay, we should do the attack now. They already know we might as well start. Yeah, it's not
obviously
good.
know Itachi told him, and that's obviously just not a good idea. What information Itachi was feeding to the Uchiha also might be important here, although there's never any mention of it because Itachi was a double agent. So if he was telling Fugaku things that Hiruzen said, it doesn't really it doesn't really correlate, and there's no way
Yeah.
that
I
I
mean, if Itachi was coming back, oh, the third Hokage said he wants peace, da 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 da, and then Fugaku was still like, no, we need a coup. Yeah, I mean that doesn't make sense. There, I don't think Itachi was telling him because if he was, I mean, it probably wouldn't end up in the situation that it did. Like, unless Fugaku was like so big headed that he was like, "Oh, I want to do it regardless. I don't care. They want peace. Oh well." Like, and even then, that doesn't even really sound right. And it just sounds vengeful and wrathful. But I mean, maybe that's who Fugaku is. I'm not too big on Fugaku Uchiha as a character. I'm not too big in the lore on at least his lore, so I'm not too sure. Maybe he is a vengeful, wrathful person. But seeing him lay down his life and he's like, "Oh, I'm the reason why you're here killing the village because I pushed you too hard or I pushed too hard for this and that." And instead of fighting for his life, he let his son kill him. I don't see that same man getting information saying, "Oh, they want peace. They don't want to segregate us. They're trying to fix it." And him still saying, "We're going to tear down the village so we can, I guess, be on equal footing, if not higher." Like, I don't see that happening.
could determine what he did tell Fugaku in order to get a concrete conclusion on that to like make it a relevant part of the video. I'm just saying it's something that's important, but there's no information on it. We don't know what Itachi was telling the Uchiha in order for them to never change their mind
Yeah.
on things. So
Maybe it's a
Minato
plot hole. I
is
don't know.
definitely going to be similar to Hiruzen in regards to not wanting to end the clan. Because Danzo, he was straight away, okay, they're planning a coup d'etat, let's strike, let's wipe out the entire clan. I also highly doubt that Minato, had still being in the head position of Hokage, would allow Danzo as much free reign as Hiruzen.
100% not. Nah, Minato would have seen a lot of his just shady tactics, like straightforward. The third Hokage had this blissful ignorance of, oh, we were squatties and we were friends, and I feel like he'd lay down his life for me, even though the whole time Danzo is just like, "Oh, you old fool! Your old ways are gonna get you killed." Da 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 da. Like, I'm gonna take over eventually. Like, you just don't see it because you're just so ignorant and blah blah blah. Like, Minato would have he would have been like, "Yeah, no, you're obviously doing bad stuff. If not bad, then questionably evil stuff. You have the root, a subsidiary of the Ambu. Like, I'm the one that's supposed to be in control of the Ambu. Yet you have your own division of the Ambu. I don't think so, buddy. Like, yoink, give me that shit. I show up to the root. I'm Minato Namikaze. I am the fourth Hokage. You listen to me, not this Danzo guy. And immediately the root's gonna be like, no, we only serve Lord Danzo. The rest of the Anbu show up. You guys are under arrest. A fight breaks out and they either A, the root gets slaughtered, or B, they get arrested. And guess who also is going to get arrested? Donzo. Donzo wants to fight. Now Donzo's going to have to fight Minato because he's not going to get arrested. Pulls out all these Uchiha eyes. Oh, it looks like a conspiracy to me. You're over here killing Uchiha and taking their eyes and putting them in your arms. Like this. But then again, I'm going into like straight crazy head canon. But I mean, it sounds like it would be legit, at least in my eyes. So yeah, nah. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. I think Minato would have been like, nah, bro, nah, you're done.
Did. And if that's the case, Donzo,
But Donzo ain't gonna go down without a fight. I'll tell you that.
at this point anyway, may not even be in the discussion or in the room to hear about Itachi and the coup d'etat and whatnot. Donzo is the one who originally obviously approached Itachi with the idea that, well, we need to wipe out the clan. So Minato probably not gonna have Donzo around. I definitely see that being
He's
like
gonna go down with a
way he
fight.
could go about things. But if he does,
Donzo's just not gonna leave. And if Donzo does leave, it's because he used Izanagi, and he was like, okay, no, he used Koro Matsukami, and he's like, okay, I don't want to fight the fourth Hokage. Koro Matsukami, let me leave the village. He leaves, and he probably finds Orochimaru or some shit, and they hash out some scheme. And then a couple years later, tuning exam shows up, and it's not just the Sand Village; it's also the Root and Donzo. Oh boy, that'd be a crazy fight, dude. I should make a what if or hire somebody to draw it or whatever, and then I just tell them the plan, and then they read it. That'd be badass, bro. What if Donzo? What if Minato kicked out Donzo, and then he teamed up with Orochimaru to try and take over the Leaf during the tuning exams? Oh my god, dude, that'd be crazy. Minato and the third Hokage versus Orochimaru and Danzo on the roof. And honestly, I think Minato would end up dying because Hiruzen would be so conflicted. Like, no, I fight my student and I fight my former best friend. This can't be happening. Like, and Hiruzen would have thrown the fight.
obviously Donzo's probably gonna say the same thing he normally did, and then he's gonna talk to Itachi and be like, "Oh yeah, well, you need to wipe out the clan." That's basically the only answer.
That's it. That's all
Now
it is with Danzo.
we do know that Minato, or I guess I should say we don't know. We don't know of any Minato political prowess feats, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know what
So
you're saying.
Minato,
We don't know what laws that Minato has put in place for Konoha because we never got to see that. We saw him do a whole bunch of paperwork super fast. That's why he's the fastest ninja, right? He did all the paperwork, but what did he sign? We don't know what laws he put in effect. Did he put in a no littering? Did he put in a speeding system? Like, we don't know. We don't know if he changed like how to get promoted in the rank structure. We don't know anything about his political powers. We don't see anything when it comes to like shipping. We don't see anything when it comes to treaties with other villages. We don't see any of that shit.
negotiating with the Uchiha the same way
We don't
Hiruzen
know if
tried
he's that
to,
good at it either.
we don't even know if that would have worked.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't know.
and
We just know he's good at fighting and he's fast with signing documents. That's it.
I venture to say, since Hiruzen was unable to come up with a strategy to subdue the Uchiha or to make the coup d'etat not happen, that is probably unlikely Minato would be able to either. Minato is touted as like genius shinobi, crazy, super powerful, whatnot. Yes,
But what does that have to do with politics?
but it's never stated to be like in the way of being political. He's stated to be a genius in terms of combat and things like that.
Tactician.
So I wouldn't think that if Hiruzen couldn't come up with a way to stop the Uchiha massacre politically, that Minato could do it either.
I mean, because one, we haven't seen feats, but we have seen that Hiruzen has been in the Hokage position for a long, long time. There's no way you last in that position for so long and you just don't have any type of political awareness whatsoever. Like, you're sending kids on missions to build bridges in the land of waves. Well, you have to fill out some type of agreement with the ninja in the land of waves, or else you get issues like the Zabuza arc, right? It definitely shouldn't have happened under the third Hokage's watch, but maybe that's a mark against Hiruzen. Obviously, he wasn't aware enough that hey, we're I'm sending Genning on a higher level mission than they should be taking, right? And on top of that, there's a mercenary group in the land of waves, and they're causing issues. But I don't really know that because I have other things to do. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder
I don't.
even
I just don't think politics have really been touched with Naruto. I mean, why not? It's a show about fighting. I'm pretty sure Kishimoto didn't care about politics or anything like that. So it would make sense. Like we're trying to come up with these types of things that one haven't been explored at least thoroughly, and two will never be explored because why? I mean, it's old. There's no way they're going to remaster Naruto with like an actual story remaster, filling in all the plot holes. If they did, that'd be epic. I would watch it. I would love it. But even if they did fill in the plot holes, that might change the story, and we wouldn't get the same ending, which could be good. But a lot of people will complain like, "Oh, it's not the same. Like, why? Why is it different?" You know.
if there's a way to solve the Uchiha's problem after they already planned the coup d'etat. The plan for the coup d'etat was obviously to overthrow the village's seat of power
Mm.
and put Fugaku in the Hokage position. So in this scenario, obviously they would be trying to overthrow Minato and put Fugaku in the Hokage position.
Which would be a
If
lot
this
harder.
were to, let's say this were to go down. Let's say that the coup d'etat went down and it was going to happen. Could Minato
It'd be a tough fight because it's not just Minato they're dealing with. They're also dealing with Hiruzen, right? And they're also dealing with Danzo and the Roots. And even if they did win, at that point, Danzo might just stab Hiruzen and Minato in the back, even if they won, right? Because that's how Danzo is. That's how he gets down. If everything's in chaos and everything's crazy, even if they won at the capital, even if Minato killed Fugaku and his assailants, there would still be fighting in the streets. While people are fighting, nobody knows what's going down. Danzo kills Minato and Hiruzen by doing some sneaky shit. Might just stab him in the back with a kunai. Who knows, right? They don't know. They think Danzo's on their side. So even if it did go down, if the coup d'état did go down, I see Danzo coming out on top. I don't see Minato and Hiruzen coming out on top. And if they do, boy, that's gonna be a crazy fight.
then beat the Uchiha clan into submission. Because, like I said, I don't think Minato would want to end the clan. I think he would be similar to Hiruzen in this aspect and try to do everything he could to avoid it.
But at that point,
So
it's too
if
late. They're already
Minato
fighting.
were to knock off maybe the top four in command of the coup d'etat, the top three police, and then Fugaku as well, would that be enough to subdue the Uchiha clan into
Not if he
submission?
kills them. If not if he kills them, because the issue with stuff like this, it's not about the people in charge. Like real life situation with like ISIS and the Taliban. You can kill the leader as much as you want. It does not matter. It's an ideology. They want the coup d'etat. They're gonna get it. Regardless if you kill Fugaku, regardless if you kill the three police chiefs. They might not have the coup d'etat this year, they might not have it next year, but the idea is still there. Regardless, if they don't deal with the root of the issue, it will never stop. Like real life shit, it will never stop. You will never stop uh, extreme Muslim extremists. You cannot, because the ideology is my religion is right. Everything else is wrong. So unless you can change that, it's not going to do anything. So the only way I see them stopping the coup, it's not by killing Fugaku. It's by either one, peacefully talking with him and they come out with a resolution through a paperwork or whatever it is. Two, they capture Fugaku and then they talk to him. They talk some sense into him. Three, they mind control him and then put him back in his seat of power and he talks everybody else down. And even then, that might not necessarily work. It might work for a little bit. Hell, it might work for a long time. But they put Fugaku back in power and they're in the same spot that they were in last week, it won't change anything. They'll eventually try and replace Fugaku, or Fugaku will die of old age and then they will rise. The only way they do it is if they mind control him, send them back, while also reintegrating them into society, because that's what they want. They want to be. They don't want to be in the back of the clan. They don't want to be in the side. They don't want to be the back door. They want to be in the village and love. Don't make them just be the police while also controlling the people at the top. I mean, that's what the USA does. We send in people in puppet countries all the time, and they work their way up. I mean, hey, the Philippines, hey, learn your history in real life. You doomed to repeat it. You know what I'm saying? Don't knock me off, CIA.
I think maybe in the long run, this might discourage some of the Uchiha from doing the coup d'etat, because if the top guys can't take them out, could the smaller guys take them out? Probably not. The Uchiha were also very smart, but at the same time, this also might lead to a bunch of hatred amps, where it's like, you took out our leader, now we have to revolt. So that situation gets a little bit screwy. I definitely think that if Minato were to fight them, they would obviously lose, right? The clan would end up going extinct anyway. Even Donzo thinks this, and that's before they even have Minato on their side. You got to think also, at this point, this is what, 7 years post massacre, so Minato is much stronger, and there's already the common misconception that Fugaku was a Hokage candidate at the same time as Minato, so they're near the same power, which is never stated, by the way. Fugaku's never a
It's never
Hokage
stated.
candidate. The only thing that's stated is the Uchiha think that since Minato is up there, Fugaku should be up there as well. But the Uchiha clan is extremely biased. Not
Of
only
course.
that, but that was also only in the novel. So it's only if you take the novel as canon too. So it's a bit weird to say that Fugaku was like on Minato's level. There's nothing really to prove that in the original manga, so I'm definitely not gonna entertain it here. Just gonna go off of the implications that Minato was the strongest, top of the third war, whatever.
Mm.
So in the end, I think if Minato were to survive, the Uchiha would likely not get segregated, and the coup d'etat probably would not happen in the first place. But if you do entertain the segregation, I think that the Uchiha massacre is probably just as likely, just without Obito's involvement. But if you do say Obito gets involved, like let's say Obito fights
Here
alongside
we
the
go.
Uchiha
Oh, the
against Minato
wait,
again,
wait, wait. I thought this was the Uchiha massacre. So I thought this was gonna be Itachi is slaying the Uchiha, and then Minato shows up just because. I mean, it's a what if. Minato shows up and he tries to stop Itachi because Itachi is murdering people in the streets, right? But Minato is the only one on the scene. So it's Minato, Obito, Itachi. I thought this was what he was talking about, not could we stop the massacre like as a whole. It's a whole different video.
that fight might go down differently. However, since it's Minato 7 years with just more training and whatnot, and it's also Obito 7 years later with more training and whatnot, and I kind of can't quantify their power there, it would be a little bit weird to say one would win over the other. If you do think though that Minato would just employ the seal he still has on Obito's back in order to slice him up or whatever, then obviously Obito is going to get out of there fairly quickly, and then it'll just be Minato and the rest of them versus the Uchiha clan, in which the Uchiha clan is just going to get annihilated all over again.
True.
So
I agree.
I
But I want to hear your opinion, Six, on just Minato shows up and it's Itachi and Obito. I want to see that. That's what I want to see. But that was a great video. It actually, man, you got me talking about politics, CIA, Philippines, real world shit. Donzo stabbing Minato and Hiruzen in the back. I don't know. It was crazy. But it was an awesome video, man. Shout out to Six. Damn, he's doing pretty good. 50K. Bro, I thought he would have been at 100K at this point, but hey, it's the slow and steady grind. Anyway, this is your boy Miz. Comment, rate, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.